Alright, so for DPS heroes, I feel like one of the best starter DPS heroes, not just starter, I think it goes all the way to late game, would be Shion Muramasa. So very highly rated by other players as well. So for the game of for this game, right, the hero skins doesn't really matter that much. What the hero skins mainly affect is their hit points and their resist and defense values. So you can see that they are on the floor price. That means the lowest price for Shion Muramasa skins can be as low as $40, and obviously it can go much higher, right? If you look at 4-star skins and so on, so the price will gradually go up to $90 to $100. So obviously the better skins, they come with higher hit point values as well as higher resist values. So you would want to, so if you're planning to use this hero for the long term, actually investing like $50 more to get the best skin that you can get with the highest starting hit point values is actually not a bad investment. Because if you look at it, this costs 100 USD, right? But gives 1000 hit points, whereby this basic skin, let's say we go for the lowest price on all its basic skin here, only gives 480 hit points. So almost 500 hit points. So 500 hit points less. And even if you were to upgrade this basic skin to plus 10, which would cost you around 100 over USD based on the current price of WND as well as Horn as well. So by spending 100 USD, you can upgrade it to be the same starting values as that 4-star skin. But then you'll be spending over 140 over USD, right? So in this case, if you have actually more cash on hand, you might just want to go for a good 4-star skin. You might want to look for the 4-star skins here and look for one that has 1,000. So this has 1,000 hit points and it was only at 79 USD. So at roughly about a $30 USDT premium, right? And this is actually a good investment. So buy a good skin right off the start if you want to spend less over on upgrades, and you will have more longevity in using that particular hero skin. So you won't have to sell your basic skin and buy an upgrade later on in the game. Then for the most important thing about the heroes is actually the weapons, because I mentioned the hero skins only affect the tankiness, the hit point values per se, but the weapons will affect the damage that they do and the effects that they do, as well as the range, the area of range of their attack as well. So why do I recommend Shion is because even its most basic weapon, right? So we're looking at the lowest price for Shion weapons. It is actually quite expensive. It is at 100 USD. That is because this basic weapons, the 115 damage is quite basic. It's quite decent. It's because it still deals more damage when Muramasa's hit point is low. So as you get lower and lower in hit points, the weapon deals more and more damage. But the main benefit of having Shion Muramasa is this. Muramasa executes enemies below 50% hit points, only working against common enemies, only triggered once. So what it does is that when you have this weapon equipped, when Shion goes into the field, it doesn't matter which turn it is. Basically, the turn where she is close to all the enemies that are below 50% hit points, she will kill them all in one shot. That means for this weapon range, she hits the enemies right in the melee range, in the ring right around her. So anyone in that particular ring right around her, when they're less than 50% hit points in her first few attacks, then she will execute them. But once she executes them, that for that particular round, she will no longer do this execution move anymore. So you have to go to another round, another chapter in order for her to do it again. So this is really good because if you can actually plan your team's attack such that the bulk of your team actually does most of the damage first, and then Shion is the last one that goes in to reduce their health down to 50% hit points. Imagine if there were like 8 enemies surrounding Shion, right? Shion goes in the thick of 8 enemies and all 8 of them are below 50% health. Then Shion will actually kill all 8 of the enemies in that single turn, which is great, right? Because you're removing a lot of enemies off the field at once, and they will reduce a lot of the incoming damage. And yeah, no, this is regardless of how tanky the enemy is, right? Because as long as they are below 50% hit points, they get executed. So this weapon, this starter weapon, this 3-star weapon for Shion is really, really good, and this is why it's actually priced quite high. For Shion's more advanced weapons as well, if you're going to if you're targeting on using a weapons trait you're buying a hero as well as a weapon and preparing straight for the late game, you can look at his 5-star weapons. But right now, not a lot of good 5-star weapons. I think the best, in my humble opinion, would be this Forbidden Life Eraser. But this is actually bugged out, so it's probably actually sold, even though it was priced at 200 over or removed from the marketplace. So this is the best weapon in my opinion, because what it does is that it deals 50 plus 130% of the Shion's attack as physical damage, execute enemies whose hit point is below 65%. Obviously, this is only triggered during once as well. So during the first 5 turns, Muramasa inflicts a lethal wound when the target's hit point falls below 15% on the same turn where it has been inflicted a lethal wound, the target will die. So this is very similar to an execution mechanic as well. So this is also quite a good weapon. So this is one of the best weapons, I think. The other 5-star weapons, not really that good. If I reduces target attack. So this Onimaru has a little bit of debuff. Beyond Sundial, saying this full damage. Yeah, so her other 5-star weapon attacks actually are not that fantastic as well. I mean, they do additional damage like true damage and so on, but it's actually not as good as some of the other 5-star weapons from the other heroes. Okay, so I wanted to add that why is Shion a really good hero as well is mainly because of her ultimate skill. So even though her 4-star weapon, her 3-star weapon is like the best starter weapon in the game, right? For a 3-star weapon for any hero, because of this execution mechanic. Why people want to play Shion is because of her ultimate skill. So her ultimate skill, Shura Q Zone, basically this ultimate skill is same regardless of whatever skin you buy. Even if you buy a basic 3-star skin or you buy a 4-star skin, it doesn't matter. So the ultimate as well as the passive is the same. So obviously a passive is good. Whenever she defeats an enemy, increases attack by 15% for 5 turns, stacks up to 5 times. So a maximum of 50%, but it only lasts for 5 turns. So, and her ultimate skill is the best because when she unleashes her power, she does 300 plus 25% of the target's current hit point damage to all enemies within the range. So this range is very small. He only targets up, down, left, and right, squares right beside Shion, so it's basically at close melee range. But this is really good move for hitting bosses because regardless of whether your boss has 100k hit points or whether it has 1k hit points, like 1000 hit points or 100,000 hit points, it will remove 25% of his hit points right away, right? So by using this move, then if you actually accumulate, if the battle drags on long enough for Shion to get another ultimate, it will also remove away 25% of that boss's current hit points as well. So it's really good for like softening out bosses per se, because as long as because most of the later battles in WonderHero are multi-stage battles. So in the first stage, you'll be facing common enemies where you could actually just battle and then gain the turns where you could actually hold the ultimate to go into the second stage, which is the boss stage. So once you go into the boss stage, you can straight away unleash Shura Q Zone ultimate on the enemy boss and instantly remove 25% of their hit points, which is great for those very late chapter bosses, which are very, very tanky with like tens of thousands of hit points, right? So this is a really good move. Another alternative weapon for Shion Muramasa is Kiku Ichimonji, which is a 4-star weapon for Shion. And why it's actually supposedly good is that it deals 10 plus 100% of the class's attack as physical damage. Muramasa's attacks makes the target bleed, and bleeding units cannot be healed. So this weapon per se, it does obviously, since it's a 4-star weapon, so it does 140 damage, which is higher than her basic 3-star weapon. And people are charging around 50 to 70 USDT higher as compared to her basic 3-star weapon, which is around 100 USDT, right? But what you're giving up if you're using the 4-star weapons, you're giving up the execution move, because if you look at the description, there's no execution move described in the weapon skill. So you no longer have the execution mechanic, which is an important feature of why Shion was so good. as a basic starter hero because she could remove some of the common low-level enemies pretty quickly as long as they're below 50% health, and it reduces any incoming damage coming from those enemies, and it makes the round go faster because it kills some of the enemies earlier. But what this bleeding effect is good is basically when you are going against, when going up chapter 5-3, there's a particular boss called Venom, which actually heals once every 4 turns, and he heals for quite a significant amount of hit points, so more than 1000. So if your heroes, if you don't have a lot of heroes, or you don't have a 4-hero team, or your heroes don't do a lot of DPS, then he's going to heal up most of the damage that you do to him. And if you don't kill him by 20 turns, you're going to lose, or you're going to die to his poison, right? Which does damage over time as he tanks all your damage and he heals him up. So if you have this particular weapon, you will make him bleed. And since he bleeds, he cannot heal. And then that will make taking him down easier since he can't heal. But this is not a 100% necessary weapon to win 5-3. You could just win that level basically by heals, because if you have a healing hero, especially a hero that heals your whole team in an AoE heal like Ling, or if you have the 5-star weapon for Nightingale, then you might be able to heal your way through it and just take him down purely by just pure DPS and take down his heals through that way. Or you can actually buy an item called Stamp of Time from the market, which the price ranges somewhat, but Stamp of Time is also a weapon that you can, an equipment that you can equip on any hero at all, and the attacks from that hero will make the enemies bleed as well. So you could use that item as well. Another essential hero will be Nightingale, which is the basic healer hero that you're given in the free-to-play version, which is Battlestar or Battle Diva Slaymaker. But now in WonderHero, you will have to actually spend money in order to purchase this healing hero to be in your team. So as you can see, her basic skins are not too expensive. They are ranging from about 40 over USDT. But as I mentioned before, if you are looking for long term, if you're going to play this hero for long term, and you have the budget for it, rather than buying the basic skin, you might want to go for her legendary skin, which gives a lot higher stats, and then you can use that skin all the way until the late game. Because you can see here, for 41 USDT, the basic skin gives 520 hit points. But if we go to her 4-star skins, right? And let's see if there's any 4-star skins that's better. So this gives slightly higher hit points. This one gives 840, as well as gives a limited resist of 15%. And this is about double the price, but it's only about 40 USDT more. Then you can get close to double the hit point values as compared to a starting skin. Then let's see if we have even better skins. This one is not that great. Let's see if we have one with higher values. It's not bad as well. Gives 720 hit points and 432 armor. So armor is like an additional shield that goes around the hero. So basically, this skin gives Nightingale an extra about 1000 over hit points, because 432 armor can be just considered as hit points as well. And this is decent as well. So I think just now the one with armor would be one of the best in my opinion. This is also not bad. So as you can see here, this skin might be one of the best here. One of the best legendary skins, 720 hit points and 432 armor. And if you actually upgrade this skin is currently at level 2. If you upgrade it to level 10, the hit point values as well as the armor values will go even higher. So this is only at 95 USDT. So even though it is double compared to its very basic starter skin, but you can see that the stats are different, right? This only has 500 over hit points, while that one has another 300 additional hit points, and it adds armor as well. So if you have the budget for it, I would suggest, actually this is also not bad. This is quite a good find. 520 hit points as well as 260 armor for the basic starting price of 45 USDT. So you really have to look through the market and try to be savvy, look for those skins with good stats. But the value of the hero really lies in her weapons. So as Nightingale is the healer hero, it is actually the weapon that either does the DPS or the heals. So if you invest in her very basic 3-star weapon, the lowest price of a starter weapon would cost 149, so 150 USDT, and that's not that good as well. This is only 100 attack. Let's see if there's something that's a little bit higher attack. So this is better, right? 120 attack. Also adds additional 24 attack as well. It's 154, only 4 USDT extra compared to this is starting at 100 attack. So you always want to go for the one with the higher base attack. So 120 and plus 24 attack. So there's 144 attack actually at 154 USDT as compared to this. This has additional healing effect, 6.2%. Base attack, it's already at level 3, so it's already been upgraded. So 136 attack and plus healing effect of 6.2, but this guy is charging of 160 USDT. So overall, her weapons are quite expensive. So what Hyacinth does is that it deals 10 plus 70% of the class's attack elemental damage to enemies every turn, to the enemies surrounding her. Every 2 turns, she will heal one single nearby ally for 10 plus 80% of the caster's attack. So she only heals once every 2 turns, and it is a single point of heal. So if you want a little bit more heal, you want her to heal every round, you will have to go for her 4-star weapon, which bumps the price up to another additional close to 40 to 50 USDT more. So like her Tulip, this is heals the ally with the lowest hit point percentage, 10 plus 80% of the class's attack. If target's hit point is low, heals at most 50% more hit points. Also increases target defense by 20% for 3 turns and stacks for 3 times. So the lowest price the market is charging for this is 190, but you can see that the rest of her 4-star weapons are actually at 200 USDT. So this would actually do higher amounts of heal because its base attack is higher, but it will also heal more because it heals every round rather than every 2 rounds. But it only does one single instance of heal. It only heals one single hero at a time. If you want Nightingale to heal even more, you actually have to pay top dollar for one of her 5-star weapons, which is weapons such as this, Forbidden Desire, right? So this is an insane price, right? 350 USDT. Obviously, a much higher attack, but what it does is that heals all nearby allies for 5 plus 40% of the class's attack. Skill restores additional hit points every 3 turns. So this actually does heals all nearby allies. So it does an AoE heal, but the price people are charging for this is extremely steep. And obviously another one that is people are pricing even more ridiculously is this one. So this is already at level 3 and modification already at level 2. So somebody has already upgraded this. 214 attack, heals on nearby allies for 15 plus 44% of class's attack. Increases frontal allies elemental defense and rear allies elemental effect by 5% for 2 turns. So it gives a little bit of buff. But 500 USDT, this is an extremely ridiculous price. Please do not pay for these items, because there is an alternative to this, which is Ling, which I'll talk about later. So, and also why Nightingale is good as a healing hero is because other than the weapons, which does the heal, her ultimate also does healing as well. So if you look at her ultimate skill here, Healing Rhythm, heals nearby allies for 50 plus 80% of the class's attack in terms of hit points. If the target's hit point is low, this skill heals at most 50% more hit point. And she has a passive that at the beginning of each turn increases Nightingale heal boost by 5%. So initially it's 2 stacks, it will stack up to 10 times, so maximum of 50% heal boost as the turn drags on. So if you find that you don't have the budget for a healer like Nightingale because his prices are quite ridiculous, especially his 5-star weapons, an alternative healer would be to get one of the heroes that is not included in the basic hero series starting list. That means it's one of the heroes that started dropping in the loot boxes as players were playing the game. and this hero is called Ling. So you can get a Ling skin fairly affordably. At the lowest price I can find right now is 60 USDT. But obviously, if this is bought up, then you have to go for the rest. And the other skins, I think you have to look under the latest hero skin, and you search under latest, and you have to scroll through and see whether any links are listed. So links are not very common, but you can find one here, 67.7 USDT, and then let's look further. And there's one good link skin here, 1000 hit points, right? This is a 4-star skin at 110 USDT. And let's look further if there's any further link skins for sale. And we have another one at 60. I think it's the same as the earlier one, 67 USDT. Any further link skins? Ling. Okay. Oh, this is too expensive, right? This is 200 USDT. It's not even that good. So this is priced very ridiculously. Don't go for that. Let's see if there's any reasonably priced links here. This is decent. Peachy Charm. Not that great. 600 hit points. The earlier one is better, but it says it has 3 slots, so it's ultimate resist and resist of 70 as well. Then price at 100 USDT. So link skins are quite rare, but they are still available on the market. And then her weapon is, where is that, right? So Ling normally with a 3-star weapon is actually a DPS. But with her 4-star weapon, you would actually become a healer. So the 4-star weapon, you have to look for weapons, search under weapons, search under all, because Ling is not listed in the advanced search options. So you have to search under all, look for 4-star weapons, you have to look for this weapon called Deep Shadows. So with Deep Shadows, it converts Ling into a healer. So the weapon skill heals on nearby allies for 5 plus 40% of the class's attack. So this is a heal, a AoE heal around Ling every single round. So if you notice, this is actually has the same effect as the 5-star weapon from Nightingale, and it heals for the same percentage. So this 5-star weapon, which people are selling for over 350 USDT, or close to 350 USDT, heals on nearby allies for 5 plus 40% of the class's attack. Obviously, this restores additional hit points every 3 turns, but this amount of heal, right, 5 plus 40% of class's attack, is the exact same percentage as Deep Shadows, right? Which is also healing nearby allies for 5 plus 40% of the class's attack. So it just depends on how much attack you can boost, how much of Link's attack you can boost. The higher the attack power that you can boost, the more she heals. So obviously this is a 5-star weapon. Its base attack is a lot higher, 187, as compared to the Deep Shadows, which this is the one of the better version of Deep Shadows, which base attack is 130. So if you don't get this, we can look under, this is lowest price, right? Deep Shadows is not so easy to find actually. Yeah. So you have to search quite thoroughly. Okay, we have another one here at 125 USDT. So this is also not too bad, 145. So the weapons for Ling is actually still generally, at this point of time, the weapon called Deep Shadow for Ling is actually still cheaper than the price you would pay for a Nightingale 3-star weapon. So it depends. So if you want to find an alternative to Nightingale as a healer, I would suggest go for Ling and go for that particular 4-star weapon called Deep Shadows. Because if you were to go for, let's say, 3-star weapons of Ling, if I were to search for it, yep, this is a basic 3-star weapon of Ling, right? Called Solaris. It's actually a DPS weapon. So 10 plus 100% of caster's attack, elemental damage. When Ling hit points is above 80, Link's attacks generate armor equals 10% of damage she deals. So she actually becomes a tanky hero. Does a tanky DPS hero that does DPS and generates armor with every attack. So normally Ling is with a 3-star weapon, Ling is played as a DPS hero that is considerably tanky. But if you convert it to her 4-star weapon, she becomes a full-time AoE healer.